So don't you ever tell me nothing about quitting. Quit being the opposite.
Hello and welcome to Chargers Talk 4630. I'm your man Stacy, and wow. First, before we get started, I want to thank you for being here, stopping by to hear what I have to say after yesterday's game. And I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you and being here for me every week and the interactions that we do throughout the week. Thank you for the subscribers. Before I get started, I want for you people that are new, like, share, and subscribe, please. I really would appreciate it. Let's jump into it, man. It was another rough Sunday out in LA as the Chargers fall to the Commanders yesterday, 27-10. And for the second week, they played an ugly, undisciplined, and sloppy game. The Chargers was in control of the game early on. Justin Herbert broke off, I believe, a 41-yard run, but they failed to get in the end zone, so they got 3 out of that. And Ladd McConkey got in the end zone with his first touchdown of the season, putting the Chargers up 10-0 early in the first quarter. But just as things were going so well, it took a wrong turn, like really quick. The momentum shifted in Washington's favor when defensive back Quan Martin forced a fumble from wide receiver Quentin Johnston after a big gain that moved the chains and extended the drive. But Quentin Johnston fumbled, and unfortunately, it was at a crucial time in the game when the Chargers had a lot of momentum going their way and looked like they were about to extend the lead to either 13 or 17 points. Washington was gashing the Chargers defense on the ground, and even with a big knee brace on Jaden Daniel, he was still getting out of the pocket and scrambling, picking up chunks of yards as if he had no issues with his knee at all. The Commanders marched right down the field and scored, making it 10-7. And then the defense finally makes a stand from pinning Washington on the goal line, forcing the punt. Ladd McConkey let the ball bounce to him on the punt and fielded on the 42-yard line and made a hell of a return and ended it by leaping over the defender and taking it in for the touchdown. And that would have put the Chargers up 17-7 with 34 seconds left before halftime. And for some doggone reason, whether it was the player's decision or lack of coaching to advise this man, if you're going to rush the punter, do not, under no circumstances, run into the kicker. Man, you already punting from the end zone, so you're going to get great field position, probably middle of the field at worst. And for some reason, Marlo Wax runs into the kicker, taking away a 42-yard return for a Chargers touchdown that was needed so bad before halftime. Washington got a field goal before halftime to tie the game up at 10 apiece, and it just went downhill from there. The offensive line was, again, a horror show. I mean, I think I can get a few of you guys, and we can go out there and do a better job at pass blocking. Look, I know these guys are backups for a reason, but they are all pros, and they playing in the National Football League, and it is just embarrassing to go out there every week and can't pass block, can't run block. And I don't think Greg Roman helps out with the terrible play call neither. Constantly calling for Herbert to drop back 5 steps, looking for something deep downfield when you know your offensive line can't hold up longer than 2 to 3 seconds, right? Herbert is getting murdered out there, and he won't be able to hold up for the season with this garbage offensive line. What in the hell is happening to Jim Harbaugh's team? A 57-yard return for a touchdown taken away for just a horrible decision to rush the kicker before the half. Right after that, Jaden Daniels makes a 50-yard pass on a post where Washington receiver McCaffrey was wide open, and that set up the field goal before halftime. They came out in the third quarter and scored and went on to score 27 unanswered points, people. 27 unanswered points. The Chargers never scored again after the McConkey touchdown in the first quarter, and for the second straight week, the Chargers played an undisciplined brand of football, committing 10 penalties for 87 yards that ended up being costly, including a roughing the punter penalty that negated a Ladd McConkey touchdown. Their only points of the game came in the first quarter, and they couldn't even get on the scoreboard beyond that. The Chargers committed 3 turnovers, all of which came in Commanders territory. Justin Herbert was pressured on 45% of his dropbacks today. After forcing a fumble, the Chargers drove down the field to try to cut the deficit to 3, but Herbert threw an interception at the Commanders' 1-yard line. This turnover led to a 13-play, 99-yard touchdown drive for Washington that put the game out of reach. The Chargers allowed 163 rushing yards to the Commanders, including 111 to rookie running back Ja'Cory Murray. I don't know what happened to Jesse Minter's defense. Jesse Minter's defense last season was crazy good. These first 3 games, our defense kept us, even with a few struggles with the offensive line, the defense made the difference in those first 3 games. But what happened since then? What has happened to Jesse Minter's defense? What has happened to these players? And what has happened? I can't believe I'm asking that question. What has happened to this Jim Harbaugh-led team? I've never seen this under a Jim Harbaugh regime before. The Chargers' running game was again ineffective, with Herbert being the team's leading rusher with 60 yards. And outside of Thule's 5 quarterback pressures, the edge rushers combined for just 3 pressures. It was over when Herbert was picked off again by cornerback Mike Sainristil at the Commanders' 1-yard line with 7:44 remaining in the game. The Chargers had the opportunity to cut into the Commanders' lead, but Washington took that right away and turned it into a touchdown with a little over a minute left in regulation. 15 penalties last week. And Tim Moore in yesterday's game tells you all you need to know about this team. It's undisciplined. It's unprepared. And for the second week in a row, it was not ready to play the brand of football we've been accustomed to seeing from Jim Harbaugh. I've never thought I would use these words to describe Jim Harbaugh coach team, but it is what it is. I've got to be honest. I'm extremely disappointed. And for the second straight week, this Jim Harbaugh-led team has looked unprepared and flat out just bad. This isn't the kind of football I expect to see this season. And I'm honestly at a loss for words with how undisciplined this team has become. And I have to start questioning some things about Jim Harbaugh and his coaching staff. Greg Roman has been terrible with this play calling. It's done nothing to help Justin Herbert. And I don't know if Harbaugh is just too loyal to Roman to make a change, but something has to give, people. These guys are supposed to be professionals, and yet it feels like they're ignoring what everyone else can see. The offensive line has been a major problem from last year, during the offseason, and the beginning of this season, and there's been no real effort to fix it. You got draft picks. Use them. Make a move. Get some help up front, because it's not sustainable for Justin Herbert to take this kind of punishment all season. And I'm honestly worried about this team. I really am. This is not the Chargers I thought we were getting. And right now, I'm questioning if we're as good as I believe we were. Something has to change, and fast. Let me make this clear. I love this team, and I'll never give up on the Chargers, no matter how bad things look right now. I still believe in Jim Harbaugh and what he's trying to build here, but it's getting harder with this kind of product we keep seeing on the field. We all know these players can perform at a high level. We've seen it before. That's what makes it so frustrating. It's honestly astonishing how bad we've looked the last couple of weeks. It doesn't even feel like we're 3-2 right now. It feels more like we 1-4. I'm still riding with this team, but something has to change because the talent is there. We know it. The effort isn't matching the expectations. And I'll end with this. A lot of people said, in the chat room, I told you this team wasn't going nowhere, and, you have a strong belief with this team that I don't see. But my confidence in why I thought this team would be in contention is simple. It's my belief. I'm not naive to know that believing something that seems impossible is not about ignoring the reality of what the situation is, right? Especially with this offensive line. But it's about seeing beyond that. It's the kind of belief that looks at the odds that's stacked against you and still can say, even though I know what it looks like, but I also know what I believe. It's holding on to hope when logic says you should let it go. Because deep down inside, you trust that what's meant to be can break through any circumstance. But my belief in what I think this team to be is starting to become more and more difficult. That's all I got for now, because there's just not a whole lot of good I can say other than that we're 3-2. We're still in first place in the division. And thank God all the wins have come in the division. But how long can that last? Only one knows, right? So it's on to Miami. Who knows what's going to become of that? Everything, I know it sounds crazy by me saying this, but everything we want is still right in front of us. It's just that some major changes got to happen. I can't see it. I haven't seen nothing the last 2 weeks that would make me believe they're going to turn it around, but who knows? This is the NFL. It can happen, but a lot has to change. The defense has to change. Everybody on that team and the coaching staff got to look themselves in the mirror and question what they're doing right now, because the product that you're putting on the field is not meeting the expectations that we all thought you would have. So thank you guys so much for checking out this podcast today. As difficult it was, we got through it. Remember to like, share, and follow. Be good, be safe, bolt up. I'm out of here, guys. Like, share, and follow. Bolt up.